The TTTEVPN.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hank American Engine. I have two special honorary guests with me tonight. First up is Christopher Bouchard, and second is Owen Thomas.
Yeah.
They will be joining me for my live stream tonight, but before I jump into the topic of it, YouTube user Michelle Herrera had asked me a few questions on my second one 3 days ago when they weren't able to make it. The first question is, what are my personal opinions of Mattel messing up the Take and Play and Trackmaster ranges? In my first two live streams, I actually said that I will not voice any opinion whatsoever on these new lines based on the pictures or videos I have seen. For the new Trackmaster 2014 redesign, I'm waiting for Gator to come out where I live. That way I can pay the $20 for him and not the $40 and have to wait an additional time. I want to see the quality with my hands. I want to be able to tell the differences and compare it to an older Fisher-Price model. And the same thing with the Take and Play range. His next questions to me were, what made me get into Thomas, and if I collect Wooden Railway or Take Along? In that last video, I did answer that I collect Wooden Railway. I have the redesigned Butch. You've seen him in some of my videos. I also do collect Take Along. I showed off some modified Butch models. And as for how I got into Thomas, when I was a little kid, I watched Shining Time Station. So there's a big point of nostalgia for me. I believe I've got 3 or 4 VHS tapes of a great deal of the show just recorded onto them. Hopefully I can dig through and find them. But Michelle Herrera, there were your questions answered. I'm sorry you couldn't make it to this one. Hopefully you can make it to one I may be scheduling tomorrow, but details are to come later in this one. Tonight's live stream is going to be something a YouTube user had asked me about 3 to 4 years ago. And that was my opinion just about TAKARA TOMY toys and Fisher-Price. Now, instead of reading off all of this that I have typed up to make into a video, I'd rather communicate with all of you live so that way I can get more opinion. Christopher Bouchard and Owen Thomas will be able to throw in their own opinion as well. And I accept negative criticism. I know they will. And I just want comments to be friendly and family safe so that way everyone can enjoy.
Family friendly, everyone can enjoy. Enough said. No cursing.
And no swearing whatsoever in the comments. If you don't agree with us, please just say, you know, why. Give constructive, negative criticism. If it's just negative criticism, like, oh no, you're dumb, I will find a way to throw you out. Matthew,
I'll give you extra time tomorrow.
hello, Matthew. Nice to see you joining us.
Oh my goodness, please. Mom said I get it until 10.
Okay. So, to begin our topic for Plarail.
I get 5 more minutes.
Plarail has been manufacturing Thomas & Friends engines for roughly 22 years. And I got started, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, just starting to scoop them up and expand my Thomas & Friends collection. I'm pretty sure you don't need to know who was the first one I bought. He's sitting right here. It's Oliver. Sorry if you can't see him, but I'll bring him in later in the shop.
2 ways of buying trains, the Great Western Way or the wrong
way. Yeah.
Great Western, don't we know it, Negro?
Oh, yes.
At 10.
Matthew Kundrick, Percy and Rosie are not in the pack. They're not sold together. I just did not have a box for Rosie. She'll appear in another video, as will Oliver. But hello to you, Darth Shaman. I don't know why Pokemon that's a little hedgehog. Literally, a hedgehog is an evil Sith Lord, but whatever. Bertrand04 was the one that actually asked me my opinion, you know, regarding Plarail and everything like it. And I guess the greatest thing I have to say is just look at it for yourself. If you look at the Hit Toys boxes, the Tomy USA boxes, Fisher-Price boxes, 2010 to 2014, and then 2014 onwards, you don't get as personalized as this. And I'll take Percy, for example. We've got a screenshot from Season 6. It's literally themed Percy. That's literally it.
Whoa.
You don't get that from Richard Price, and unfortunately, we didn't get that from Hit Toys.
I'm a diesel pen. You know what's pretty ironic? I think I got it in a Trackmaster box. At least I think I did. And you know what's at the bottom of it? Tony.
What's in?
Something Ghislaine.
Hmm.
That is kind of ironic.
Definitely.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So, I have three. I don't really experience that much in Plarail, but I do have a few Tomies.
And as I said earlier, I do call Tomy USA Plarail.
Because they are sort of the same entity.
True.
If you look at this is actually one of the oldest engines in my collection. It's a Tomy Arthur. It actually has the Tomy logo and says that it's made in Thailand. And for example, I'll take Victor. If you pick him up, he's got the exact same markings, copyright Tomy and made in Thailand. And the quality, quite literally, is in the plastic and the motors.
That's sort of like the yellow Plarail Victor, you know, like the one where he falls off the ship and it's like, tengo un problema, and he falls in the sea.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Is he sort of like that one except painted red?
Well, I can actually say that Plarail has done an outstanding job with quality and durability. I have 3 very old engines. They are 10 years old, and when 2015 comes around, they'll turn 11. I already showed you one. It's Arthur.
I think if I heard correctly in one of your videos, Murdoch was another one.
Murdoch, if I can pull him in without derailing what he's holding. I'll get to the rolling stock later. Murdoch, although having some scuffs and scrapes, is my second one. He still runs like new.
You know what's...
If you take a look at my 5th Rail Fanning on Soto installment, even the Q1 is the 3rd engine.
You're gonna have to leave soon, sadly.
That's alright. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. I just want to say that the three Tomies I have are Annie, Clarabelle, and Thomas. Ah,
yes. I forgot to pull out Annie and Clarabelle. Bother.
See you guys. Bye. It was a pleasure to be in this live stream.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Many thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Owen Thomas had to leave us. How do you do, Joseph the Red Engine? As I'm kind of going back to this topic, Plarail continues to simply just deliver with quality. I know they redid James to kind of have him own a flat-type drive unit. I'm not going to say I'm for it, and I'm not against it, but I mean, I was figuring, you know, if Connor got moving side rods and had the motor up in the front, you know, it's going to eventually happen.
I hope that Plarail makes the Marion Ranch notes. God said they make them as bad until maybe in the redesign, because in the redesign they're just bad.
Well, like I said, I'll save that for a different video.
No, I'm just expressing my opinion from what I've seen.
I know, and I just kind of want to keep the opinions focused on just one topic each time. Tonight, it's going to be Plarail, and if I can schedule another live stream for tomorrow, it will be Hit Toys Trackmaster, so this will be considerably less cluttered. If there's one thing I can say, and almost everyone will point it out with Plarail, is simply just the detail they put into the engines. And well, I'll use Connor later on in the video, but Hero is based off of one of their D51 engine molds. The only thing I have to say is when I opened him in the Thomas and Hero at the station set, I did not have time to be gobsmacked by the amount of detail that was on him. I had to film that and get it up as soon as possible. due to the weather. But
True.
he was the first Plarail engine that actually took my breath away after another one just simply put my expectations so high up for all of these companies.
Yeah, Plarail is known for great quality. Scarloid and Rusty, before their paint started to fade away, they were quite detailed. The one perk I have about Scarloid, why don't your side rods move?
You know, that's actually kind of a bit of a point of contention for a lot of people, and there's that tiny division in the Plarail range that's like, oh, all engines should have moving side rods and things of that nature, but I'll tend to disagree, and Murdoch is really the only example I can use. Is if you look at the show and his model, you can see how complex his side rods are, and I'm glad they captured that in the molded plastic, but seeing him have just like 4 or even 10, a few fake wheels, and then just 2 that move, so he has moving side rods, it's kind of defeating to me.
Yeah. You know what is kind of strange? I actually used to have a Murdoch when I was rather younger, but I think it broke or something and I had to get rid of it. Wug.
Well, I had thought of a time of getting rid of Murdoch, but not anymore. I kind of fell in love with his basis as I did the character, and so he stays with me.
Don't get rid of any of your Tommy toys.
I don't plan to. But kind of moving into some things, Plarail kind of does outdo Fisher-Price. For starters, with Blue Mountain Mystery, a lot of people were saying, give us a pre-Sodor Victor. Fisher-Price answered with the Talking Victor's Big Splash, but a lot of people wanted him before he fell into the sea. And that's how we got pre-Sodor Victor from Plarail. And with that pack, we kind of got a lot of Plarail firsts. Definitely was a first with Kevin. And I've already told you he is a midget. He is tiny. There's nothing I can really say or do about that.
Yeah, and the Hit Entertainment one is definitely
bigger. Yes, I know.
If you were to compare that hit Kevin to Tony Connor's face, they're
roughly the same size, but I mean, a lot of people do complain with the Victor comes to Sodor pack, and it's because of this. A lot of people are going to complain, oh, that's not the narrow gauge breakdown crane, it's just a rehash. And I prefer a rehash over not one at all. And I know that we've never seen the narrow gauge breakdown crane since season 4 or 5. But I mean, it's better to have it than to not have it at all. And that's kind of the way I see it with this pack, is take what you get and don't complain. I kind of did want a pre-Sodor Victor that was not rusted or soaked, that I could actually freewheel and run, and I have one, so I'm very happy with it. And I mean, if you've seen any of my videos, I think there's only one that I've done an actual Plarail review on, and that's James. You'll just hear me talk and blather on about detail with this, detail with that, and blah, 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 so on, so on. And quite frankly, that's the truth. The detail in all of these engines is just amazing. And I'll get to that point of contention later. Christopher, do you have anything you wanted to throw in about Tomy USA or Plarail? Christopher? Are you still with me? Well, unfortunately, I don't know what may have happened to my special honorary guest. He may have run into a technical issue or something, but I do know that, unfortunately, Plarail has begun or already enacted a retirement of a number of classic characters like Oliver, Bill, Donald, and several other engines. But others have endured the test of time. Obviously, they're not going to pull out Thomas, Edward, Percy, James, Gordon, Henry, and Mavis, in addition to Toby. But I have seen engines slowly disappear. I have seen Stanley, I believe, unfortunately, come or go. I do not know yet if they're going to expand it back to 25 or to the 36 they used to manufacture. But Plarail's attention to detail with a lot of their products is amazing. One thing that they have kept doing is a video that I had once a review I'd posted about this massive starter set. They still manufacture this extremely rare red express coach. They're very rare to come by, especially on eBay, because those bids will fly up quickly. And the only ways you can get them now are in the new rehashed Thompson truck set, or via bids at Joust or Japamart.com. And they are also the only ones who continue to manufacture these green express coaches that come along with Gordon, and they're only available with the Galloping Sausage, unfortunately. I don't really have much contention against the rolling stock that they manufacture, but mainly I believe it's simply because that's something they see the engine pulling in the show frequently. It's something that would make sense. Oh, it's Gordon, let's give Gordon this, and things of that nature. But there are some tiny contentions against Plarail that I do have, despite the fact I'm always so enthusiastic in saying, please talk about this, talk about this, talk about this, throw this out there, throw this out there. Perhaps one of the biggest points is kind of the mixed color of rolling stock, and I'll pull out Plarail Stanley's box. You can see down here that he actually comes with China Clay Wagon, as JD41796 calls them, and a blue-ish troublesome truck. Now that kind of gets at me, as I know, it's a kid's show, but in this set there's 2 different colored trucks that would not really be suiting to the show because it just stands out so much. I know this truck here is the exact same that Tomy UK Douglas came with, and there's nothing much I can really say about that. Plarail Molly and Tomy USA Molly, Tomy UK Molly, whichever you would like to call it, actually came with a darker green freight car, well, an open wagon. And, I was like, okay, it's a darker green, and if you look in the classic series, there were 4 colors of trucks. There's the troublesome truck gray, the dark green for the coal, black, and then very dark shaded brown. There's still some contentions I have. I know that Plarail Hero in his 3-pack comes with a slate car and some green oil drums, and I'm not too much of a fan of the slate car. But I do wish that some rolling stock that is no longer available in the Plarail range, such as the branch line coaches behind Oliver that you can see here, and I will uncouple to display for you. These were only available with Oliver, with these very light grayish roof, and have since become quite rare with his discontinued self. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Plarail, Duck is back in the show, manufacture him. Oh, Plarail, Oliver and Toad are back in the show, manufacture them. And, that's going to be the tricky bit because they've updated all these models so well. Some models that they still continue to manufacture that need the quote-unquote update are saying, there's Mavis, there's Toby, they still need their detail to be thrown in on them. I'm going to take a quick sighting here. Michelle Herrera, come to my YouTube page. It should be streaming live right now. If you're subscribed to me, you should be able to just jump in and post comments. Earlier, I was able to answer your questions very early on before I started the Plarail topic. I don't know how to work it with Google+. I'm still working out kinks and things of that nature. So please come to my YouTube stream that makes things easier. Matthew Kundrick, you actually would have to add me on Google+ if you wanted me to join. I'm unfortunately not hearing anything from Christopher, so I'm guessing he may have run into technical errors. There's nothing I can really do about the bad quality for the stream status. And, okay. Thank you for adding me, Michelle. That should bring you in. I'm going to come back and join in on the Plarail, quote-unquote, issues topic. A lot of people will also say, you know, Plarail, when they had this big, huge amass of characters that nearly got into the 40 number digits, would say, you know, there was a bad circulation of some engines compared to others, and Murdoch is actually a very good example of that. When I would look up on eBay just trying to find Murdoch in his box or Arthur in their box, it was hard to find them, but if I wanted to look for, say, Molly or one of these, or Rosie or Bill or anyone else, I could find them without a problem. And I think that's one very small point of contention that Plarail had is, I don't know if it was just consumer demand wanting these big engines or these newer characters, but I really cannot say. Thank you for coming in tonight, Murdoch. Unfortunately, I've got to put you away for now. So goodbye. We'll see you in my next video if I decide to pull you out. Joseph the Red Engine, your question to me is, should Plarail make the narrow gauge engine small? And that's actually why I do not collect the narrow gauge engines. It's because the gauge is exactly the same and there's no discerning difference between the two. So yes, I would think that Plarail should just shrink them down a little bit and find one of their other play lines that would work to suit these fairly HO gauge sized engines perfectly. Excuse me. Another slight point of contention people will have with Plarail is that engines that came with troublesome trucks had varied faces. One of the most common troublesome truck faces is actually right here on Henry, the one with the open mouth. If you took a look at my Thomas and the Trucks review set, I showed that face from the show with Mavis from Season 3, Toby's Tightrope. And one of the two rarest is the face on this truck right here, which is bearing his teeth. Excuse me. I think I'll open the Thomas and the Trucks set instead to show you the faces, so that way it can be a bit better of an understanding. Okay. But sorry, Darth Shane, Murdoch is collectible, and I do want to put him away. This is one of the most common faces on troublesome trucks when Tommy and Plarail had this huge lineup. And the second most common was this face right here. One of the rarest faces that I'm glad that I have two trucks with is this glaring face. And a lot of people call it the constipated truck, and, you know, the anger control freight car. But call it what you like, but that face was one of the rarest in addition to the surprised face that Stanley's truck has. Joseph the Red Engine, in reply to your comment saying that they should shrink down the narrow gauge engines to Plarail Advance, Plarail Advance is extremely small. Case in point, I will be doing a live stream unscheduled when my Plarail Advance C57 arrives in the mail. Hopefully it'll come in tomorrow and I can do one in the afternoon before I jump into another. But Plarail Advance actually has a train running on these very thin tracks, and I feel that would be far too small to interact with these engines. Hopefully I can do a gauge comparison for you. But rolling stock was a very big, rolling stock availability is a very big point of contention that was made. Obviously, a lot of the fans wish that the Express coach was manufactured and given to more engines other than just Gordon, and the Tartanka that comes with James and discontinued Boco to come with more engines. Before I go on, I do have one question from Pyro Male Dragon Schwartz. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. What are your thoughts on the new Trackmaster engines? If you could fix them, what would you fix, and what would you add, and why? Early on in this live stream, Pyro Male Dragon Schwartz, I did say I am not going to give my opinions or thoughts or anything on the new redesign for 2014 and onwards. And the main point of that is because I don't have any of the engines. I've already stated that I will be buying Gator. Gator will come into my possession when he comes to an area around where I live. I do believe that there has been a lot of consumer contention with this new redesign. And I just don't know, whether or not, should I pay $40 or should I not? Misael Herrera, you're here. Thank you for coming in. You want me to do a mini review on Plarail Edward. Well, let me first of all free him from his quote-unquote cardboard prison. Since you're asking me to do it, I will do this. I'll say the shout-out for this review goes to Misael Herrera for the mini intermission of the Plarail Edward. I will also say a big shout-out and thank you to the members of Blue Plastic Tracks. They were the ones that gave me enough force saying, we'd like to hear your thoughts about this whole thing, all the manufacturers and whatnot. Joseph the Red Engine, you're welcome. I do not remember why. I don't know why you're thanking me, but you're welcome. Plarail Edward actually fits comfortably with styrofoam in his box with a troublesome van, which I do not have out. I've stored all my vans to keep them safe. And my most favorite faced troublesome truck. I really wish I had more of these guys, or just more troublesome trucks in general. I might do just a special little review on rolling stock, something unique all to itself. But I mean, I've stated it before with the Plarail James box, and I use Percy as an example. I love how they just do their own theme, simply staying close to just the character that goes inside the box. Out of the 4 battery-powered tender engines, Edward is actually the slowest, but I've also found that he's the strongest one of them. In all honesty, when I opened Edward, I thought, he was a little bit cross-eyed, but he really isn't. And I really find nothing wrong. The only stickers are his cab windows, and that's really it. And I love the detail that they festoon into this locomotive. My only point of contention is, unlike Gordon, the only thing that they paint on Edward's tender, aside from his number and decaling, is his buffers. And I have a red enamel. If it's the right color, I might go ahead and change that. But if you can find a Plarail Edward for under $30 with the shipping combined, I would say to buy it. Matthew Kundrick, I did get your message. Please add me in on Google+. That way I can easily pull you in. It's a little bit easier for me to do it that way, as if you're following me on Google+, I can just pull you in without a problem. Misael, you are asking me if I will get any electric trains from Plarail, like the Plarail EH500 set. Actually, to answer your question, I actually do own a few real-life Plarail engines, such as the HD300 diesel, and the one that I jokingly blame UC Weapon for convincing me to buy is the beautiful lady known as the C-57 Yamaguchi steam locomotive. Quite frankly, I can see why they call it beautiful lady. She's literally gorgeous, and if you've seen any real-life videos, you'll just see how gorgeous she is and how incredible that whistle of hers does sound. Another set that I got but never showed was this DD51 freight set. Comes with 4 see-through boxcars, a steam generator coach, and a high-power locomotive. But I'll save all of this for a different video of real-life Plarail. I do have some things coming in from Japan, and one of them is a limited edition Plarail train. But for now, I'm going to return to the topic of Plarail Thomas, as that's what I'm here to talk about. Because Plarail has been making Thomas for roughly 22 years. I do have to say that in spite of some of Plarail's hiccups, I am still a loyal supporter. I wish they would actually open up a Plarail shop here in America. Okay, Matthew, just give me a very quick moment so I can set everything back up and kind of want to keep things organized here in this chaotic mess. If there is one thing I do want to say about Plarail is, aside from the hiccups that they do have, it's a bit disconcerting to me that a lot of people are getting upset over some of Plarail's biggest hiccups. I apologize for all this clicking. I'm trying to bring in another special honorary guest. Okay. Matthew, I have sent you your invitation. Michelle, you mean the Plarail engines that use the overhead wires? And what are my favorite Plarail Thomas engines? I don't know if I will actually buy any of those engines like the Shinkansen or the I know I've had my eye on the EH500 set, but it didn't really stick out to me. I don't know if it's an actual big train set like the Thomas and the Trucks one. And pricing on that is extremely expensive. As for my favorite Plarail Thomas engines, I really can't say I can't really choose a favorite. I can tell you some that I am not a fan of, and those would have to be Bell and Flynn, and unfortunately Steven, and quite ironically, I'm not a fan of Connor. And this will lead me to the hiccups. A lot of people claim that Bell is just a redesigned Tommy Arthur. And the reason is there's a gap right here from the drive wheel to the trailing wheel. So all they most likely did was move the trailing wheel back some towards the buffer beam and then tack in another wheel and redesign it completely to look like Bell. JD41796 reviews and stuff, I believe it is episode 3 or 4, I think it's episode 4 actually, where he reviews Trackmaster Bell to Plarail Bell. That's one reason I do not like Plarail Bell is when I do the Fisher-Price 2010 to mid-2014 Trackmaster line, I can explain. Michelle Herrera, you're telling me that the EH500 freight set is like the Thomas and the Truck set? If you can give me a little more information by sending me a link to a video review of the set being opened and revealed on YouTube, or pictures of the entire set new out of its box to my messages inbox, please do so. Pyro Drag Pyro Male Dragon Schwartz, you're saying that I'm right. Plarail would probably make some money by opening shops in the U.S. Yes, Fisher-Price is going quantity over quality now, but again, I will save that for a later video. It's actually kind of disconcerting if Plarail would open it. But again, I'm sidetracking from the main topic, and that's kind of the hiccups that Plarail does have. If you remember my King of the Railway Trackmaster review, I said I wanted a tender-powered Connor because I love the detail in his side rods. They delivered on a great deal of things with Connor, and the biggest one is the coach. It's a coach. Yes, I know I'm a little insane, but it's better than what Fisher-Price did, because Fisher-Price didn't even color the bottom wheels to have the teal color to match Connor and the coach, whereas Plarail did. Now, I know it's just a rehash of the Express coaches, but a coach is a coach, and I will take it. I'm still missing 4 more of these, and when they release Plarail Caitlin, there will be a Caitlin versus Caitlin video. Plarail Connor, like I said in my review, he's just festooned with detail, but he's also remarkably fat. I know a lot of people are saying, that's probably why I don't want him, it's his face. Yes, Connor's face is scary. You'll just have to get over that. I've already gotten used to it. Unfortunately, yes, Plarail does do some hiccups. Plarail Steven, the locomotive himself, is alright size-wise, but his tender actually has black wheels instead of the yellow, so there's one hiccup right there. Michelle Herrera, if you can just give me some more information about the set, I might look into purchasing one, but again, I'm not sure. It's funds that are extremely tight. Christopher, I do not believe I have muted you. I'm going to eject you from the call. I'm going to now try and bring you back in. Eject, and I will not block you. I'm going to try and bring you back into the live stream, Christopher. I'm sorry if I had to boot you out, but let me see if that will bring you in. Christopher, go ahead and give it a shot now. I've just brought you back in, hopefully. Iverna Hagany, thank you for subscribing. Sorry, I'm going through my email because I'm getting some complaints from honorary guests. Darth Shaman, you're asking me, what do I think of what they did to Harvey and Mighty Mac with the battery-powered coach instead of the battery-powered engine? I guess you could say the same thing could go with an engine like Molly. And this is probably a good defense for Mighty Mac. Mighty Mac are two engines in one, so it's kind of hard to get a powered motor that you can operate either Mighty, have him go forward, shut him off, and then Mac and have him go the other way. And there's also so much detail for the engines that has to be just crammed into this little plastic engine. For Harvey, I think they could have done something special with him. Obviously, they could have left him with his moving crane arm and actually made him motorized. But, you know, it's Plarail, and I'm not going to complain. The original Plarail release, howdy, I Love Trains 323. Thanks for shouting out. As I was saying earlier, I don't really have a problem with the Plarail Harvey or the Plarail Mighty Mac. I do understand that there's that size-wise crunch to get all that detail into the engines. And that's one thing that I do have to say I love. I pointed it out with Hero and a couple of the other engines earlier in this live stream, is just how I love the detail that they show and that they put into all of these engines. But every company has to have their limit on what they can and what they cannot do. Matthew Kundrick, thank you for subscribing. I'm sorry if I can't get you in. I've had technical issues with all of this before, and I do wholeheartedly apologize. I'm going to try and enhance the focus so that way everything isn't just some big blur for all of you. I guess this is enhanced, but I'm going to quickly put the HD into the stream. Hopefully that can do something. There you go. It's all HD now. As I was saying earlier, you know, a lot of people will complain about one thing or another with Plarail, and usually it's because of all the contentions they have to do to keep the detail put into these engines. And like I said before, I will not complain. All the engines that I've had from Plarail show quality and durability. Like I said earlier, Murdoch, Arthur, and Stephen the Q1, who was formerly Neville, are 10 years old. Misael Herrera, as I was saying about the EH500 freight set, if you can send me links to my YouTube channel to give me more information, I would be wholeheartedly appreciative. I can also continue on, you know, with how much the Plarail company has made some mistakes, but it's very difficult for me to actually go against Plarail. I know it sounds heavily opinionated, but my only main contention with Plarail is the pricing on their products that I paid for through eBay. The most expensive engine I've ever bought from them was Connor. Connor was $40, and even though that was with free shipping, that's $40. I can also say that Plarail's wide variety of rolling stock is simply amazing, because when they were Tomy USA as well, they would release these expansion packs. I only have one of these, but then people on eBay would post lots of things that they did not want to buy, well, they didn't want anymore. And that included tankers like the milk tanker or the Sodor fuel tanker, which I have no access to at the moment, but possibly one of the greatest freight cars they have ever made. Christopher, I can try to give it a shot. I do have a lot of comments coming in every so often, but I will try and read your comments. If you all have anything you want to say about this, please just go ahead and tell me. This is by far one of my favorite trucks they have ever released. You all are probably going to say I'm insane, but I love it. It's the Troublesome Vans. I have 5 of them, actually, and if you don't believe me, I keep all 5 of them together. I also keep my tar tanker and the milk tankers all together, simply because I want to be able to have easy access to them and to keep them from the sunlight. Joseph, you're asking me for my opinion on Spencer's coach for the Duke and Duchess of Boxford. I have to tell you, you've got a very good, keen eye. I actually got mine secondhand used, but if I was to put it up to the H.O. Gage Bachmann model or to the television series model, I would say there's nothing wrong with it. It's really, really good. I know some users who have beyond 2 of these, and you know, I'm not going to be jealous. They have the money to spend, I don't. But if you can find one in great condition, even if it's used, I would buy it. Misael, just send me the links of the pictures from the web pages, and that way I'll be able to view them. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to keep things as organized as possible. Darth Shaman, before I answer your question, let me take a quick drink of water. I'm getting a little bit of a parched throat. Excuse me. My opinion of engines with dummy side rods. The only engines from Plarail off the top of my head that I can think that have dummy side rods are Murdoch. I know Murdoch is definitely one of the biggest engines, and from that alone, he has the dummy side rods. And since he's being brought up, since that topic is being brought up, I will pull Murdoch back out again and put him right here in front of Stanley. Sorry, Stanley. Pyro Male Dragon, I'm so sorry if I keep messing up your name. You have one of the troublesome vans that you got with an Edward. That is awesome. I'm sorry, but these vans are just too awesome. As Darth Shaman was asking you about engines with dummy side rods, the only engines with dummy side rods from the Plarail range that come to my mind directly definitely happens to be Murdoch. I know Murdoch was one of the only engines to have dummy side rods. And I actually like engines with those kinds of side rods. For me, it gives them a lot more detail and tells me, you know, we can't give them moving side rods, but please accept the fact that he has side rods as detailed as we could get them. Looking at some pictures of all the engines that they have manufactured, as I said, I don't know all of them right off the bat, but Murdoch, Skarloey, Fearless Freddy, and I believe those are the only ones from the Plarail range that had dummy side rods. I don't have a problem with them as long as they are reasonably accurate. Wow. So, Pyro Male Dragon Schwartz says he has a funny story in a department store, and it begins with that he was walking around in the Thomas stuff and found a 2006 coach. I'm sorry to hear that, Christopher. Thank you for joining, and I'm sorry that technical issues came up a lot. That does seem to happen with me quite often. Darth Shaman, I do not know what you mean by Hank has them, doesn't he? If you're talking about the narrow gauge engines, I'm sorry, the quality is about to drop to very, very poor quality, but if you can see, I'll quickly bump it back up to HD so you can take a look at just how well they have done Murdoch's side rods. They are as accurate to his real-life basis. And if you do not believe me, here is a book all about riddles, 9F. You can see there the side rods on the locomotive. They are exactly, mostly the same. And exactly. I apologize, I have to drop the quality back down to rubbish. Sorry. I guess my internet streaming isn't very good. Darth Shaman, you're actually bringing in some characters from Hit Trackmaster like Peter Sam and the Iron Twins. I'm holding back on those, but thank you for reminding me about Diesel, Splatter, and Dodge. They have their side rods molded in to their plastic chassis, and I actually don't mind it. I know for some people like UC Weapon, they prefer a set of moving side rods, like you can see here on Stanley. But me, not so much. I'm more the picky sort who prefers detail over little moving side rods. Michelle, you actually ask a very good question, and it is, when it comes to Plarail, why do I not like the colored troublesome trucks? As I answered your question as to what got me into Thomas, The only colored troublesome trucks that I saw up to season 4 were the troublesome truck gray, black, the dark brown, and a very, very dark green that came with Plarail Molly and Plarail Rosie. I don't know if they still come with the Plarail Rosie that they keep releasing, but I feel it's just too kiddish. And when the show got into seasons 11, the later seasons, where a lot of fans said, oh, it's off the tracks, it's so terrible. Red freight cars, turquoise blue, it's the lack of realism. It's the lack of realism when you see a freight train coming down the tracks. Here in the United States, I'm used to seeing some freight cars, you know, beige, yellow, blue, occasionally orange and green. I'm used to seeing those in a mixed freight train, but I don't enjoy seeing them on a Plarail range, nonetheless for a British range, because I'm not sure how things operate in Great Britain, but I've never seen colored rolling stock. The only colored rolling stock I've seen are coaches, and coaches are the only ones that I've seen colored. And Plarail has 4 sets of colored coaches. They have Connor's, they have Gordon's Green Express coaches, they have the Red Express coaches, they also have the Duke and Duchess of Boxford's coach. Soon in October they will have Caitlin's coach. They also have Annie, Clarabelle, and Henrietta. I do not think that they manufacture the narrow gauge engines anymore, so those coaches are out of the question. Now, a lot of people have gone to UC Weapon, they've seen his videos, and if you're going to go and watch any of his stuff, just hit that subscribe button. That guy is just fun, he is awesome, things are family friendly at his channel. He will swap out the motors for faster ones, for stronger ones. And there are actually some engines in the Plarail range that have motors designed for strength or for speed. Excuse me. And I think the best example is if I would have turned this into a recorded video that I had already done. I'll go with the big 4 right here with Edward, Henry, Gordon, and James. Out of all 4, the slowest one that's been produced is Edward. Edward is the slowest, depending on the kind of battery that you give him. But he's also one of the steadiest engines I've ever seen. Yes, I am referring to him as Steady Eddie now. Please do not reference Charlie. I do not like that tank engine. But Edward is one of the slowest and also more powerful engines. These 3 right here, the tender engine trio, as I call them, of Henry, Gordon, and James, often have a tie with their speed and their strength. Henry is currently the only engine that I have yet to hook up 20 trucks to, and that's mainly because I don't have the space to put that many. But he and James work with a good amount of speed, and so does everyone's favorite galloping sausage. Michelle, I do agree with you that there should be some variety besides just gray, but Plarail has also made the black troublesome trucks. They've made the dark green ones, and I think for me, just personally, that's enough variety. As I was saying, the ironic thing about James is I think they nailed his personality down in his motor, because I've hooked James up to some freight cars, and he will either go fast, so that way he's like, okay, you filmed me, give me coaches, or he will go sluggishly, even if it's a brand new battery, and the train could possibly be, oh, I don't know, 4 freight cars long. But Gordon is just kind of the one who will go fast, but then slow down to show off for the camera. I know it sounds silly, but yes, Matthew, I did call Edward Steady Eddie. If you've seen my model showcase 2nd edition, you'll see that he's pulling a 10-car train, and every single freight car on that train that can be loaded is loaded. Just because he's old doesn't mean he's that slow. Michelle, you do bring up a good point about the express coaches. I did forget about the one that comes with the talking Plarail James revamp. Unfortunately, to me, that is not as frequently common on eBay as Spencer or Gordon maybe, or even Thomas. So that's why I do not include his coach as a
inclusive one. Yes, Edward is the slowest, depending on the battery. The two that I've stored in his container with the trucks actually give him that speed that he deserves. But yes, Edward is one of the steadiest ones that I own. I'm very proud about that. He doesn't ever seem to fail me when I ask him to pull a train. It's usually the camera. But it seems like every single engine just has a personality to them when they're working. And usually it's simply based on the motor. And like I said, I don't have any grievances against it. I love seeing how Plarail captures the engine's motors. Neville, we saw, was a very quick and fast-paced engine. So they gave him a motor that was just a tiny bit faster than everybody else. And then, with the hype of Thomas and the jet engine, yep, the engines are alive. With the hype of Thomas and the jet engine, where we got this magnificent beauty, I don't have any AAA, so I can't show it off lighting up. Sorry. You know, we do see that Thomas has the fastest motor, which I unfortunately say he's faster than Gordon. Plarail has also done expressions, and I will not say they are bad. This is the surprise to Percy. Yes, he's terrified. This is all I have of him now. I'm kidding. I still have the rest of him somewhere else. And then, of course, Plarail has done the Grumpy Thomas. Maybe we should put this Thomas next to Grumpy Cat, see who's grumpier. The cat wins. No one's grumpier than Grumpy Cat. That's what I'll say. Not even Thomas. The world's most famous little tank engine. If there is someone in the running for rolling stock that can get give Grumpy Cat a run for its money, it's this truck. I'm sorry, but this truck is just grumpy all the time. You know, it's every single engine has their own personality. When you give them something to pull, or just let them sit idle at the station and whatnot. That's kind of the one thing I do have to say about this is, you know, a lot of people do say, you know, oh, the engines are like this, or mine does that. And each engine will do their own thing. Plarail does use stickers on some of the models. Oliver, Rosie, they're a good example of that. They don't have slapped on decals like Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Thomas, and stuff like that. So Plarail for me is kind of the one that I would promote as much as I could for a consumer. Darth Shaman, you are asking about the facial expression for the jet engine Thomas. I do not remember where I put that at the moment, but yes, he does have a surprised/scared face. If I can find it before the live stream ends, I will display that off to everyone. Like I said, I do not remember where I have placed it, so I cannot exactly show it to everybody. Here it is. This is the face that Thomas comes with in the jet engine pack. yes, now he has more reason to be terrified. He doesn't have a chassis. But that's probably a good reason why Plarail is liked, is their diversity for the engine's expressions. Micelle, I do not think I will buy any of the talking Plarail engines. I'm more interested in just the engines that can run by themselves without talking or giving me sound effects. I don't essentially need to hear chugging noise or one of the engine's whistles. That's what I have my movie making skills for. I do not know about the Blue Mountain set. Matthew Kundrick, if I finish, my other 3 planned live streams about Hit Toys Trackmaster, Fisher-Price Trackmaster from 2010 to 2014, and then 2014 onwards, I may make a special video just about my collection and explaining why I've changed the couplings. But unfortunately, you cannot ask me how I couple my engines. I'm sorry, that is a trade secret for me. Joseph, the reason why I have Rosie and Percy's box will be explained, hopefully, in tomorrow's live stream if I can schedule one. The next live stream will be talking about Hit Toys Trackmaster. So although it's a smaller range of locomotives to look at and rolling stock, there will be much more talk about the transition period from Plarail/Tomy USA to Hit Toys Trackmaster for around the world, except for Japan and some areas of Asia. Excuse me. I do believe I've covered all the points I have personally wanted to with Plarail. But if there's anything anyone wants to point out, about any questions to me about Plarail, your questions, put in your comments, tell me what you have to say, if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. If you go to the Thomas the Tank Engine Trackmaster Wiki.com, I've actually posted a blog of my review that I had actually printed out. There were a lot of characters that Plarail has done that were only available in packs. Old Slow Coach, I would like to buy her, but I don't want to dish out $100 for the pack and then another, say, $50 to have it shipped when the only thing I'm buying is just the coach. If there's also some points of contention I do have against Plarail, and I've already stated those. And it's just sometimes the lack of circulation to their sellers on eBay. Sometimes it's just the lack of one little bit of detail, like Edward's unpainted buffer beam, or an engine who may be missing a lot of detail. Matthew Kundrick, the next live stream is hopefully tomorrow evening around the same time at about 9 p.m. Central US. But again, that is subject to change. After this one is finished, I will be putting in the new one. I will be scheduling the next one. Ricardo Rodriguez, good evening or good night or afternoon or morning. As I said earlier in this live stream and my previous ones, I will not be talking about the new Fisher-Price redesign until I actually have Gator with me. I do know he's supposed to be released in only a matter of days. It is currently July 25th. In about 6 days, it will be the end of the month, and he's due to be released in August. So please have some patience. I don't want to jump into something that I know nothing of. Darth Shaman, your question to me about my favorite destination in the range. Are you talking just Thomas Plarail, or are you talking the TAKARA TOMY Plarail, including real life? If you can please quickly get back to me about that, I'll answer your question. Michelle, will I review Thomas at the Timber Yard? I do have the footage. I just do not remember where I left it. So if I can find the footage and remember what I had thought, I will piece together that review. Remarkably, I still have this set, and I still have the Terrence. So yes, if I can find the footage, yes, I will create a review for it. And I'm sorry that it does take me a long time to do reviews. I do have a lot of things coming in. I have requests for remakes or questions about what video I will be doing next, or I do try to film one of my rail fanning series. I know I did promise Thomas's branch line after the Little Western, but because workers on the branch line cannot keep their mouths shut, I did not want a flashbang wallop to happen again, so I will not be visiting the Farquhar Knapford branch line. Okay, Thomas the Tank Engine Plarail and then Plarail. I was asked that very same question earlier about Thomas the Tank Engine Plarail, and in all honesty, I just can't choose my most favorites. You know, they're all unique. All the engines that I have are unique, and they look so amazing, so I really just can't choose a single favorite. Joseph, I'm sorry if you missed the next live stream, but like I said, I don't know if it will even happen tomorrow. Michelle, I do think that the Plarail Thomas and Friends items may be expensive on eBay, and one is because of depending on where you live, and two, it's actually a bit discounted from the price. When I went to the official Plarail website, it translated to 3,335 yen for just one of these engines. I punched that into an online currency converter, and that turned into between $30 to $35 for the U.S. And you know, they put them up there for James was $15.99 with $10.99 shipping, so that was $25.99, $26. And as long as I do not have to pay over $30 with the shipping included for one of these Plarail engines or in a bundle, I will jump on it. But I actually lost money with Connor because Connor was $39.98, and that was just way too expensive. Even though it was free shipping, it was expensive. I don't think I have a favorite Plarail Thomas destination or Plarail destination, Darth Shaman. Unfortunately, I do not buy the biggest sets. I do not buy every single Thomas set that comes out. I just go for what I am interested in. If there is one thing I wish Plarail would do, it would kind of help save me money and expand their merchandising, is release kind of just like little four packs of coaches or rolling stock. Like for Gordon, they can make a pack called Gordon's Express Coaches with 2 of the green ones and 2 of the red ones, and sell that for around $20 or so. They could also sell the Troublesome Trucks pack with 4 different kinds of truck faces and 4 different loads. Or they could release a super pack set of Connor with his coaches, where we get Connor, his tender, and 5 of his coaches. You know, that would be a pretty good deal. That would be something I would love to hopefully see from Plarail. Maybe even little beginner sets like Thomas and the Freight Cars with like Rosie from that learning segment, or Gordon or Henry with Duck and some tenders and a truck or 2, or Edward and a special Duck from Close Shave, something like that. Excuse me, I have a quick email to respond. Excuse me, I'm a little bit hoarse in my voice. I need to take a quick drink of water. Michelle, this is actually the live stream on just Plarail. If you mean like real life Plarail, I'll see after I've done the other 3 hopeful live streams before I get back to school. Burka04 asked me for my opinion on Plarail, Hit Toys, and Fisher Price. So I do want to try and get all of those knocked out first before I go into something completely different, just like real life Plarail. This little card that came with the C57 that I have obviously does state that I do collect some real life engines. But I guess one of the downsides now to the show going to CGI is the boxes, even though they still try to stay as themed to the character as possible, it's a bit more difficult to do so because they can't get a lot of the special shots like they do from the model show. And that kind of makes me feel a little bit sad because with the Plarail Victor Comes to Sodor pack, Victor was never rendered properly in CGI. This is just a concept art form. And the box is still amazingly well done. I still applaud it on the detail. Michelle, depending on how much that Winston set that comes with Winston is, I may or may not buy it. Simply because of the money and the cost of shipping. It's just because I do not make a lot of money, even with these videos that I love making. I just can't seem to make enough. It's not like it's a permanent job for me. Even if I do have a job, I'll keep making videos. But out of all of these 5 right here, the most expensive was Gordon at $28.90 some odd cents. He was very expensive for me to buy. Edward actually came in at the cheapest for being 22. Henry came in at 24, and Percy tied with Gordon. So those 2 are actually some of the most expensive engines that I own. I do believe I will say what I gave Plarail on my rating. Out of 5 stars on the Wiki blog post I said I gave them 5 out of 5, that I was just completely, in love with them. And that was about a year, 2 years ago maybe. I think now it's more of a 4.9. The lowest would be 4.7. And it's because there's a lack of circulation from their eBay sellers, whom they distribute the product directly to. There's also the lack of being able to buy just certain rolling stock like express coaches or troublesome trucks. And the slight little goofs of giving a standard gauge engine narrow gauge rolling stock. In the Hit Toys Trackmaster range, I will get very heavy on that. But I do have to say Plarail has always made me jump for joy, metaphorically speaking, when I buy, say, a new Thomas engine or even one of the real-life engines. And that's because I know that I'm investing in something that will last me many years. And it's simply because Brock and Arthur and Stephen the Q1, who was formerly Neville, are 10 years old, and they still run like brand new. They do have some scuffs, they do have some scrapes, but they're still with me, and they still run as if I just got them from Japan. And that's the one thing I do have to say I like. This is my second Tommy Oliver. My first one, unfortunately, was destroyed by a careless neighbor when they asked to see him. Otherwise, he would have joined the ranks. I also do have to say that Plarail just continues to make me wonder what they're going to throw out next. And when I get to the Fisher-Price Trackmaster range from 2010 to mid-2014, I will explain myself there. But I just don't think I've found many wrongs to the number of rights that Plarail has done to the Thomas & Friends range. I just find them to be consistently making accuracy and bringing smiles to millions of children's faces all around the world. I really cannot say that I don't like them for this or I don't like them for that. I understand they're a big corporation. I understand they have things that they do want to produce, but due to the way they want to line things up, you know, maybe they just can't. Maybe it's because of one thing or another that they're struggling to put out a new character. Maybe it's because there's not enough requests for him. Which Kevin do I like better? If you're asking about the Plarail or Hit Toys, if my review, my live stream review and opinion about Hit Toys Trackmaster does air tomorrow evening, you will get an answer to that, Matthew Kundrick. Please, just tomorrow, if the live stream does air, post this question again to me, and I will answer there and do a comparison between the two. I do not know if in my Plarail pre-Victor Comes to Sodor review that I give my opinion on which one I like more. I really just can't say, as I don't want to spoil anything for tomorrow's potential live stream. Nisel, you're asking me if I will get the new version of the Thomas and the Truck set. I know it comes with the red coach. I don't know what you're asking afterwards because you're saying, hey, will you get the new version of Thomas and the Truck set? It still comes with the red coach, if you will. If you're still going to ask me one more question after that, please send it to me so that way I can try and figure out what you're saying. But I don't know if I want to get it just yet. I know it's been out for a few years, but the rolling stock to me seems kind of iffy. They don't put the new scruffy in anymore. It's just the old rusty one that a lot of people have. I can't get to mine right now, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen it. Opinion of money and whether the set is worth it or not, because there are some elements to that set that I would love to have. Again, I would love to have more of those red coaches, but the other thing is that, you know, some of the rolling stock is just repeat from the old one, and I can't really say, you know, I'm willing to get it. The Thomas and the Truck set is the most expensive set out of the three that I've bought from Tommy USA and Tommy Plarail. That one actually cost me between $65 to $70. I got it a very long time ago when I got Plarail James. I believe that was 2, maybe 3 years ago. Thomas and Hero at the station I got for under $68 or so, or I think it was 68. But I got a second hand of the Thomas at the timber yard with only 1 or 2 pieces missing, nothing crucial, for $25, and that was about the suggested retail price. There is another real locomotive train set that I bought, and that was the Transliner from the Hyper Guardians, and that one actually cost me $68.20 total. Unfortunately, it's been discontinued, so you can't buy it anymore. Like I've already said, I've given my rating about TAKARA TOMY Plarail / Tomy USA. When Tomy USA began to introduce characters that were only available in the UK, like Skarloey, Rusty, Neville, Dennis, Molly, Arthur, when they started bringing them in with the older types of the engines, I was interested in a few. I did buy Harvey and Emily, in addition to Skarloey, Neville, Murdoch, and Arthur. Obviously, you know who survived. Emily failed. Her motor killed out on me. Harvey, I didn't like seeing the crane engine, so I tried to make him battery-powered. That failed. Skarloey, his motor smoked out and then the battery exploded, so he was literally a lost cause. Neville, I just defaced, and you know, that was it for him. Steven has come and Steven will stay. I did buy myself another Neville, secondhand used. His motor is much slower, so if you don't believe me, prepare for terror. It's Neville's face! But yes, I do have some engines, and some I don't. And that's basically because of personal preference. I don't really think I can say I have a grievance, if at all, against Plarail. I just kind of wish, from the transition period from these model boxes to the CGI, that I could have gotten a model Stanley, a box with the model Stanley on it. Unfortunately, the one I have is the CG, and I don't mind it at all. It's just me being picky, okay? I will be picky. That's the way I am. Michelle, which Plarail train are you going to buy first? I'm interested to hear. Ricardo, I actually do not own a Steam-Along Thomas, and I guess the thing is, like I said earlier, it's personal preference, and also I kind of look for something that I'm willing to run around a permanent layout when I get to building one. I do know I want to invest in a lot more track. I'm trying to figure out how to get more at a cheaper price than being overcharged, which means once I have a permanent layout, I can have an easier time making videos for all of you. Because in my room, I really don't have a lot of space, so I literally build a set, film what I need to, double film again if I feel I may have missed something, tear that set up, and then start again from scratch. So that's what I do. There isn't really much I can say that I will not endorse from them. I know a lot of you have been asking me if I'm either going to buy a Plarail Steven or if I can review the Plarail Flynn. And unfortunately, because of money being an issue, if you do want me to review that sort of a Plarail train, I will say that you do have to pay me via PayPal to buy that train. Actually, Michelle, I used to have a Tomy USA Emily's Coach. I do not have it anymore. It unfortunately broke right in the middle of the chassis. It gave me a few good years of play, and then it kind of snapped in the middle of the chassis when I was coupling it up to Emily. So unfortunately, no. YouTube user UC Weapon has 4 of those coaches. I don't know if he's willing to let 2 of them go to come to my hands to be quote-unquote tortured as I convert them to my special accurate couplings. Yeah, but what are you going to do? I'm not paying $50 to get them. Where was I? Oh, yes. A lot of people will want me to review. Matthew, you do bring up a good point that the Steam Along Thomas 60th set has a lot of track and a big bridge. If you watch one of Bill Barman's early Trackmaster reviews when he reviews Trackmaster, Hit Toys Stanley, Hit Toys Hank, and Hit Toys Rheneas, Hit Toys Hank does not work on that water tower, and I unfortunately do not see that 60th set up on eBay for a cheap price or cheap price anywhere at all. And again, it's something that I want as realism for my trains and my layout. So unfortunately, that will not be on my purchase list in the near future. On my purchase list in the near future is the Connor and Caitlin Super Express King of the Railway pack that is to be released on October 23rd. Michelle, unfortunately, Hit Toys does the brown Trackmaster track, which I'm actually selling off most, if not all, of mine. The only thing I will be keeping are the adapters. Unfortunately, this track is bulky and is unable for me to put away easily, but I will get to that hopefully in tomorrow's potential live stream, and you can ask me about that. Again, as I said, I don't know if I will be buying the EH 500 freight set. It all comes down to a matter of the price and if I have the money. But since we're going along this sort of thing, a lot of people with my reviews have been asking me, oh, would you go and review this? And unfortunately, sometimes I just don't have it. And the thing with that is it's money, and it's also my personal interests. That's cool to know, Matthew. I remember before with the Trackmaster Connor and Steven review, I told people I would not buy Caitlin. Unfortunately, I ate my own words because I do like seeing American engines being brought to the show. I'm not going to say I would love to see more. I think 9 currently is enough. With Timothy and Marion in Tale of the Brave, that will be 11. And I would say, okay, that's enough. Why not bring in another British locomotive? There are a lot of beautiful British locomotives. Bring back an engine like Murdoch or Molly or someone like that. But if you want me to review an engine like Stafford, Benjamin Chung actually asked me if I could review Stafford. I unfortunately had to tell him that he would have to pay me $20 to go out and buy Stafford and then do the review, and then accept the fact that if I didn't want to keep him, I would sell him off. That's really cool, Joseph. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people do want me to do a review of the Plarail Steven to see which one I prefer. And Steven is a very, very pricey engine like Connor. I unfortunately do not feel like I want to buy it. The only reason I would potentially buy it is to have the box, so that way I can put Steven away in it. The Rocket, not my Q1. But if you want me to review Plarail Steven or another Plarail engine that I don't own, please tell me. And you will have to assume the responsibility of sending me the money through PayPal to do it. I don't enjoy spending my money on something I'm not particularly keen on buying. Maybe they could introduce a German engine. I'm not too sure. I'm a little bit biased, and I kind of prefer having more British engines on the island of Sodor. I mean, if they were to do an episode about the mainland, well, happy early birthday, Michelle. If October 23rd is your birthday, that's pretty cool. Plarail releases something I'll be buying to review on your birthday. But unfortunately, if you want me to review like Plarail Flynn, or Plarail Bell, or Plarail Steven, or even Plarail Harvey, you will have to talk to me via the messages and send me the money, because I'll do some looking around on eBay. I do a lot of that to try and buy more track or more rolling stock for my collection. And I will tell you, this is the cheapest one I have found. This is the amount of money precisely to the last US penny that you need to send me, and you know, I'll buy it, and you have to unfortunately accept the fact that if I don't want to keep it, I will sell it off, because like I've said, I used to have the Fisher-Price Gordon, the Fisher-Price Percy. I sold those both off on eBay. I once had a Fisher-Price engine. I do not remember who it was, but I do remember I collected the Plarail equivalent, and then I sold the other one off. I believe... No, I don't think it was anyone else. The only Fisher-Price engines that I have that I've not been able to sell off are Fisher-Price Henry, and that's because I'm going to use the Fisher-Price Henry as the old shape Henry up until the Flying Kipper remake, which I've already done. Ricardo, I'm not exactly sure. If you want to message me about that, please feel free to. Like I said earlier in this stream, money is a problem, and I have a few items actually coming in from a Japanese auction website that has successfully sucked up all my money. I do love doing these reviews for all of you, and usually that's why I buy, is because I enjoy giving my opinions. Unfortunately, that sounds very mean for me to say, but I do enjoy giving my opinions and seeing if anyone else agrees or disagrees with what I have to say. And usually that's because I have my own opinions on things. If I'm paying too much for something, I will say it. If I'm paying just the right price, I will say it. Like I said, with these Plarail engines, I don't want to spend more than $27 for each of them. So if I can get between 22 to 27, no higher than 28, that's my butter zone, and the sellers will, unfortunately for me, have me hooked, especially if they can get me a deal. But Plarail engines like Bell or Flynn or even Steven the Rocket, I'm unfortunately not as interested in them. Michelle, when I do the Hit Toys review tomorrow, hopefully, I do not own a Hit Toys duck. Well, actually, I do. I just gave it the Fisher-Price duck's face, so I can do a quickie review on that. Boko will have to be the Fisher-Price 2010-2014 review, so please remind me of those. If you want to send me a message about them, please go ahead and do so. That way I will not forget with the reviews for the live streams. But I know I sound like a broken record when I say, if you want me to review an engine I don't have to, please send me the money. Then and only then will I do it, but you unfortunately assume the responsibility that I paid you to buy the train, the money that you sent me is to pick up the train, and then that in turn is me doing the review of the train, and what I choose to do with it is my decision. I have unfortunately had some Thomas engines that people are telling me that have asked me before the new overhaul of the line, like, ooh, do this one, ooh, review that one. I am sorry to say that even if I wanted to buy them now, it's a little too late. I think, seeing as how many people are asking me to do kind of like quickie reviews in the middle of these live streams of certain Plarail engines, I may just start a mini Plarail review series. I know that the Plarail James review has not gotten a lot of thunder. If I can see that break at least 500,000 views, then I will most likely start doing a mini Plarail review series. Michelle and Matthew, thank you for following me on Google+. You'll be able to get updates on live streams and things of that nature. A little bit more of clicking, just clearing out my email. I will be finishing this live stream no later than 10:35 p.m. I do know that I have things I would like to do tomorrow in preparation for the potential live stream of Hit Toys Trackmaster. But to wrap up with Plarail before I go into my little rant and rave about how people ask me to do a review for engines I'm not interested in, if you find a Plarail engine from Thomas & Friends that you really, really want, like Henry or Edward or James or Gore or the Galloping Sausage or anybody, buy it. Just purchase them because you will not regret it. They look so much like the model counterparts from the show, and now that they're redoing, now that James has been redone to have his motor solely in the front, I guess it's a bit of a toss-up whether you'll get the C battery or the AA. But I still say, if you get the chance, pick one up because it's most of the time 5 out of 5 stars for quality and durability. The only one I would think you would repeatedly pick up is Gordon because of his express coaches. And if you want to switch the motor to make him go faster so he can really be a galloping sausage, it's up to you. I do want to thank you all for staying here for this nearly 2-hour-long live stream. If I can start my potential live stream tomorrow at 8 p.m., I should be able to cover not only Hit Toys Trackmaster, but also Fisher-Price Trackmaster from 2010 to 2014. If any of you have a mini review you want me to do about a train that came from that era of Trackmaster, drop a comment here, drop a comment on my channel, drop a comment on my Google Plus page, or send me a message saying, Hank, I hear you're going to review this and this you're going to do this as review for your next live stream. Do you have this engine in that collection? And if I say yes, I will do the mini review with a shout out to you. If I say I do not have it for this one, but I have it for this one, which is in a different live stream, I will say when I get to that one, I will dedicate it to you. Michelle, I do not believe that Thomas & Friends will move to a Plarail Advance line. If my Plarail Advance C57 comes in, that will be a very impromptu live stream, and I will voice my opinions on that. Like I said, I want to wait until I have it and I can examine it and see what it's like, if I want to buy more, if I want to buy less, if I'm not going to buy any more. And that's kind of the big point. And again, it all comes down to just the fact of money. Pyro Mail Dragon Schwartz, thank you for adding me to your Google+. It's very nice to have people adding me in. It's nice to have people subscribing. Plarail, as I said earlier, is one of the things that I will say jump onto it if you want a train, if you want a Thomas & Friends character. If you want a real-life Japanese train as well, jump onto it. When I get my Plarail Advanced C57. I will also do something of a mini review over the Plarail C57 for this gauge, for the standard Plarail gauge. And you'll kind of see that I do have a bigger interest in real-life Plarail engines than just Thomas & Friends. But most of the time, it's a Thomas & Friends purchase that I make. I do have to say, a lot of people have many questions for me. You know, it's always, how do you couple up your converted trains? How do you do this? How do you do that with my collection? I may or may not reveal why. Once I get these these last 3 live streams after this one done, if there's popular demand, I will do one where you can literally come and ask me almost any question about my collection. Thank you for telling me the time on this live stream, Joseph. But as I said again, it's nearly a 2-hour live stream. I will push it no later than 11:45 p.m. here. This is the first time I've actually broken a 3 viewer limit. The biggest amount I caught tonight was 10. Which is maybe the reason why is because of the time I'm doing it at. So if I can get it scheduled to 8 p.m. Tomorrow evening to run to 10:30, I could possibly knock out 2 of them and then save the 2014 present onward Fisher-Price Trackmaster range until I have Gator. Matthew Kundrick, a Plarail Advance is something for the more experienced engineers or people who want to stay with Plarail but don't like the size. You can run 2 trains on 1 line of blue track. The only one I've currently purchased from interest is the Plarail C57 locomotive. And hopefully that comes in tomorrow. That will be an impromptu live stream review in the afternoon. So that way, instead of just seeing me unbox it from a video standpoint, you'll actually get to interact with me while I'm unboxing, and we get to discover it together instead of it just being me and then sharing what I know. But Plarail is one of the big 3 manufacturers that I will firmly stand behind as a loyal customer. I have always loved their detail, and I wish I could speak and write Japanese fluently, so that way I could ask them if they would be willing to send me some of their new trains to review, because I love their products. I love being able to recreate some areas of Thomas & Friends just by modeling it out and then running the trains. I love being able to connect to my childhood with a huge variety of characters and not having to wait or to fail at customizing an HO gauge engine or a G-scale engine or building one from scratch. I like that they're intercompatible with the real-life Plarail line, so that way if I buy an engine, I can incorporate them into as my own character and bring them to the island of Sodor, or have Sudrian Locomotive go and visit them. But Plarail, if you are watching, I give you many thanks as a customer. I continue to applaud you, and I will support you, possibly until the day I'm dead, with your products. I have always been in love with your products from a collecting standpoint and as from a consumer, and I would like to offer you my biggest thanks. If you are watching this video, please take some of the ideas that I did state and make them a potential reality. Michelle, you're asking me if I will get a Plarail D51 standard or the advanced when I have the money. The Plarail advanced one is only available in a set, unfortunately, and the cheapest I've seen that set is about $88. Does Hero count as a D51? He uses the exact same molding. Sorry, but If you want to see a Plarail D51, head over to UC Weapons channel. He has two. He's got Plarail Hero, and then he's got an actual D51 locomotive. But I really don't know if I will pick one up. The TAKARA TOMY Corporation, if any of your representatives are watching, many thanks, many humbled and appreciative thanks from a loyal consumer. I wish I could speak in fluent Japanese and write in fluent Japanese, that way I could communicate with you. There are a lot of things I would love to ask. And unfortunately, I just don't know your language, your beautiful language, to be able to communicate with you, because I have ideas from what consumers would love to see from you. Even earlier in this video, I believe it was Christopher Bouchard who said, now we're just waiting on Plarail to make Gator, Marion, Timothy, Reg, Porter, Paxton, so many characters. And when I get into Hit Toys Trackmaster and Fisher-Price Trackmaster 2010 to mid-2014, I will be talking about some engines that Plarail may have missed, and it might be due to popularity reasons. But Plarail always takes my breath away. Not fully where I'm laying on the floor and gasping, but just leaving me in awe with detail on each of their engines. A lot of people may have some beefs with some of them. Oliver, when they used to produce them, was a big-time problem. His whistle was not gold, his handrails were not painted silver, his eyes were not given the white, neither were his teeth, and he was not given the correct green wheels or the white running board. But I have Oliver, and I love him. I really won't complain. Michelle, if you watch some of my, I think it's either one of my two earlier live streams, you do see that I do have an engine that has a headlight in its lamp, an actual working bulb. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for enduring this hour and 45-minute long video. I unfortunately am getting ready to head off to bed so I can prepare and schedule potentially tomorrow's live stream about Hit Toys Trackmaster, and hopefully, if there's time, if I'm able to schedule it in a decent hour, I can do the Fisher-Price Trackmaster range from 2010 to 2014, and I can kind of get my opinions and frustrations about each one of them out. Like I said, I know a lot of you were asking me to do mini reviews here on this live stream about Plarail engines. Saying I want the Plarail James review to get to 500,000 views before I do mini Plarail ones just on each engine is a bit of a stretch. So instead, I will ask for at least 100,000 views before I start jumping in and reviewing Plarail Percy or Plarail Gordon or Plarail Victor. But I will no longer keep you here. Wherever you may be, good night, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. Many thanks from HankAmericanEngine to Christopher Bouchard, Owen Thomas, Matthew Kundrick. I know you all wanted, some of you were in and some of you wanted to be in. I want to say thank you very much for being my honorary guests. I will be ending this live stream in exactly 4 minutes, as it is 10:41 p.m. But again, I just can't emphasize enough how much you should purchase a Plarail engine. The quality is incredible. Aim for a fair price from an eBay seller or even on Amazon. But there's quite a bit about these engines. There's just their own majestic elegance, like their model counterparts in the show have, when they just chaunter down the line all by themselves, pulling whatever you haul or running light. And it's just something that you cannot beat. Personally, one of my favorite examples does happen to be Oliver. He looks good with almost any piece of rolling stock from the Plarail range. If you've seen my Hank American Engine top 10, he landed #1 for Plarail. And some people who know me are going to say, that's unfair. He's your favorite character from the Railway series. Yes, and, well, he's the rarest engine in my collection. But I can couple up the branch line coaches. I can couple up the express coaches. I can couple up Spencer's coach. Tar wagons, milk wagons, troublesome trucks, troublesome vans, Toad. All of that behind him looks perfectly fine, and I love that. With James, ironically, the only coaches that look nice behind him are the red express coaches. Matthew Kundrick, I'm sorry that I got your name wrong. Again, I'm not a master language person. I'm not sure why you're saying dang it. May not know why, but unfortunately I do need to end this at a reasonable time if I am going to schedule one for tomorrow. Because if I have plans to do something with my family on the weekend and I can't make it to that time slot, I don't want to tell them, no, I can't do that, I have this scheduled, I need to go to it. Before I close this out, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I'm sorry that this is an hour and 50 minutes long. Tomorrow's may be 2.5 hours long. If I can start it at 8 p.m., I would love to do that. The TAKARA TOMY Corporation, if any of your representatives or distributors on eBay are subscribed to me or watch my videos, many humble thanks and appreciative thanks from a customer that is always willing to purchase your products. Please do take some of my ideas that I have stated and release them. It would make your products even more worth the value. This is Hank American Engine. I'm saying good night, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to anyone who may be viewing this at whatever time. Thank you for joining me, and tomorrow, hopefully, there will be another live stream talking about Hit Toys Trackmaster, which was the transition period from Tomy USA to this new line of Trackmasters. And I will see you all, hopefully, tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Google+, and there will be updates to come with this. Thank you again, all of you, for watching and giving me your commentary. Like I said, follow me on Google+, follow me on Twitter, even message me here on YouTube for details. I should be scheduling it 5-10 minutes after this, and thank you again.